Okay, gang, this video is just a little bit out of sequence, but bear with me on this. I want to show you something. Sometimes when I get into a project or into a repair, I just kind of do it, and then I kind of think about it a little bit and go, I should have made a video. Well, I'm not completely done with this, so I'm going to show you some things. This door is off of Mystique, and this is a passenger side door, and you can see I got junk all over it. And it had some bad rust in this area right here. This is the lower front corner, obviously. And some people would try to, you know, grind out the rust and treat it and then maybe fill it with fiberglass. I don't like doing that. I like replacing stuff with metal. So here's some of the pieces that were left. This piece went there, and just a variety of rusty, crusty junk. So let me just show you what I did. When I do a repair like this, obviously I'm not going to be able to form all of these pieces or all of this shape. You know, it's too complex. You'll never do it unless you have a stamping die and you custom build the thing. So what I did is I made this. And if you'll notice, this is actually 4 pieces. And let me set that up in place. That's going to be the new repair on this door corner. And what I did is I started up here and I cut a line in the middle of this radius, and I removed this metal, and then I made that piece and I set it in place and I actually tacked it. You can see there's a little tack weld there. Tacked it in place. Then this piece I cut right on the edge and removed it, and with this piece in place and this piece in place, I made the filler, and then I tacked that piece to that piece. From that point, I cut that loose up here and where I had a tack over here, and I took those pieces out. Well, then I cut down here on this edge, or in the radius again, and I removed this piece, set this piece back up in place, and I didn't tack it this time. I didn't need to. I could just hold it there and get a reference, let's say, and then I made this piece. Now when I do these pieces, I make them a little bit long and then I trim everything back. So when I made this piece, it was actually taller, and as I kept taking this piece in and out, I trimmed this down until everything, you know, sit back in place. So then I tacked those pieces together, and then this bottom strip right here, I cut that, and then I made this filler piece. Now all of this, and this is my little handle, as I tacked it together, you can see makes the shape that I'm missing, or at least the bulk of it. So at this point, what I'm going to do, and you can see I put my copper weld weld through primer on there. I will put this piece back in just like I had it, and I will tack weld this thing all the way back in. There's a couple areas that need a little bit of attention. You can see maybe there's a little bit of rust right there. And I'm going to rebuild that with just weld. And as I build these edges back in, I'll blend down those welds and get the shape back, so it'll be very consistent with what the original shape was. So I'm going to get started on that, and I'll show you some follow-up work. Okay, so I've welded all the seams, and now what I'll do is I will grind all the welds down with a 36 grit sanding disc on my air grinder, and look for any voids, and then I will backfill weld those. And then as I continue on, I will be stripping the rest of this door and getting all this old paint off. So once I get that taken care of, I will follow up with filler and of course primers to get it ready for eventual paint. Okay, gang, so I wanted to show you this. This is after I've welded and blended, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think you can see that it copies the original shape pretty well. And there's still a few little pinholes and stuff that I'll weld, and that's about all I need to do beyond prepping it for some epoxy primer, and then of course a little bit of filler work afterwards. So don't throw out those doors. You know, if you have some patience and some sheet metal and some welding skills, you can probably save it. That's about it for this one. Thanks for watching.